Game time.
I'm rocking Vulcan today.
Are we ever going to change the theme song? You know how most people, most pods, they change their logo, their colors, their everything throughout the years?
Maybe.
Did you see Jaguar's new rebrand?
Yeah. Basically says Jaguar like in different font.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about it being like a clothing brand.
Yeah. They got rid of the Jaguar.
Yeah.
The Jaguar hood ornament's like iconic.
Yeah. Alrighty, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. We are your hosts, Tyler and
Jimmy Miller.
Jimmy Miller, decked out in blue, deep navy blue.
Deep blue.
They can't see it, but it says Vulcan Pickleball on the shirt.
Got some Vulcan, got some Stack.
There we go.
Listen, I'm a man of the brands.
Man of the brands. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our title sponsor of the King of the Court podcast, which is The Pickler. We love The Pickler. The Pickler is great. They do indoor pickleball facilities. Grayson Golden tweeted out the other day, and he said, hot take, pickleball should be played indoors. No. I don't know if that's such a hot take, to be honest.
No, I like Grayson Golden, but I feel like you and Rob Nunnery actually have been advocating for this for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I actually talked to another player the other day, and they said that unless the conditions are ideal, pickleball should be indoors.
Indoor sport. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for the support, Pickler. If you're interested in starting or joining a Pickler facility, reach out to them at pickler.com and use code KOTC or tell them that the guys at KOTC sent you.
Yes.
Also,
memberships.
Any sort of membership with the Pickler, you can use code KOTC to save money.
And they're selling out fast. So Noblesville is opening in like Indianapolis area. Mm-hmm. And that has already the founding members is already sold out. Las Vegas, Henderson is opening soon. That one is going to sell out fast. I think they already have 1,000 names on their email list. So jump on those quick. There's a few others. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's a lot that are opening.
Yeah. And this works on all types of memberships. And I believe even if you do have a current membership, when you go up for renewal, you can use code KOTC.
Rumors are they're going to open one in Greenville, South Carolina. Can Alex Lahin get to a 4-5? If he has a Pickler, will he be able to elevate his game to a 4-5?
He'll have to play till 4 a.m. to get to the 4-5.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you for the support, Pickler. Also, Pickleball Central is getting close to the holidays. What better idea than to buy your loved ones, friends, or anybody out there pickleball equipment?
I feel like the holidays are here, and so you need to jump on it today.
Yep.
Don't wait. Don't be a last-minute shopper. Don't be one of those people. Plan ahead. Do something nice for your significant other. Buy them a paddle.
The best code for all of Pickleball Central is code KOTC 1124.
I like how to check your watch for that.
And then in December, if you're watching this in December, KOTC 1224 will get you the best price possible. Now, not all items are discounted, but those that do apply, KOTC 1124 will be your best.
And it is
code.
The best. We've been told and confirmed it is the best discount code available for Pickleball Central.
Last but not least, Stack Athletics. We love Stack Athletics.
Stack.
They are decking the halls, decking players out with the most.
Deck the halls with boughs of Stack.
Exactly. Should we do a video with that?
So Stack, Black Friday deal.
Really good.
It's live.
It's up to 60% off.
30 to 60%. They actually have products, I don't know if you know this, Tyler, that are under $20. Mm-hmm. The shorts, their best-selling men's shorts. Let me say something really quick about Stack, okay? I am not a liner guy. I've never been a liner guy in shorts because I feel like the liner doesn't fit the outside of the shorts. Either they're too tight, too loose, right? And I've just never been a liner guy. Stack's line shorts,
they're good.
They're freaking money.
Yeah.
Like they've converted me.
They're buttery smooth, as they like to say.
Yes, they've converted me. So their shorts are between like $29 and $40. You know that dress that the Walker sisters always wear that I'm jealous I don't have the figure for?
Yep.
$38. I mean, the whole thing is insane. You want to look like Michael Lloyd
With the butterfly tattoo.
with a butterfly tattoo at Worlds, all purple everything.
Yep.
Get that whole kit for $65.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So get on Stack's website, check it out, stackathletics.com.
Using code KOTC.
Yes.
Alrighty. We're back at it. Milwaukee happened last week.
Like we never
and
left.
This pod is a little bit delayed, and it almost feels like that tournament is somewhat irrelevant because things move very quickly in the pickleball space. However, we are going to do our best to brush up on it, kind of cover the highlights from that tournament. So Milwaukee, it was played indoors at a convention center.
Indoor.
Yep. Take us away.
So I've heard, we've seen pictures. It seems that the flooring was not much better than Vegas and Salt Lake. It sounds like they tried to make it better. It just was a little bit thicker.
Yep.
But seemed to have some issues.
I think I heard center court and GS were pretty good, and then outside of that, they had the same issues.
Yeah, so I know that there was a court that the pros played on. I believe it was Jade and Zane played on this court against Millie and Noe. Mm-hmm. I believe that was in the first round. And they didn't put any pros on that court again after that match because it was really bad.
Yeah.
So other than that, yeah. AJ Kohler commentated Championship Sunday, and he made a point, and I think that you've kind of mentioned this as well, that it takes its toll on your knees and your back and your legs when you play on courts like this because you have to get very low. Mm-hmm. So a guy like him that crab walks for a living, right?
Yeah.
Probably a little easier. He's okay.
Yeah.
But you got to get very low because the ball's not coming up like it normally does.
Yeah.
And you kind of just have to adjust and get used to it. And yeah.
I love that they're playing in these convention centers, these indoor tournaments. However, I just wish that the experience would be a little bit better because it's almost tainting the experience of these players because they're going to these places and they're not having the best experience just because of these minor details.
And then it'll never become an indoor sport.
Exactly.
If the players don't.
Exactly. However, it's not the best version of what it could be.
Yes. Now, I will say this. Crowds are on point. Milwaukee crowd showed out.
Yeah. Yep.
That was impressive.
Indoor, the crowds are electric.
Yeah.
The sound bounces off the walls.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the sun, the wind, or anything like that, shadows. It's just a more ideal setting, in my opinion.
Have you ever been to Milwaukee?
I think so.
I think I've been to the airport.
Yeah, airport. Does that count?
Yeah, I don't
Do
know.
airports count?
Do you count that? Like when someone sends you that little Facebook survey and it's like, put an X.
Of course you count it.
Put an X next to every state you visited.
Exactly.
Do you count airports?
You have to.
Really?
You have to.
I feel like if you haven't left the airport.
But you are physically in that state, that area.
That's fair.
Okay. Real quick, women's singles.
Yeah, women's singles. Look,
Many of the top names were not at this tournament. If there was one tournament to miss throughout the entire year, most people would probably take this tournament off.
Yeah. So the number one seed in this tournament was actually Leia.
Okay. For women's singles.
For women's singles. And then the 2 seed was so the 2 seed was like a lucky loser.
Who was it supposed to be?
I think it was supposed to be Brooke Buckner.
Okay.
I don't know. So it was Zoe Whale was the 2 seed, but I think that I think it was supposed to be Brooke Buckner.
Okay.
And so anyways, kind of messed with the seeding a little bit. Zoe did win her first round matchup and then lost to Jessie.
Okay.
So anyways, it's the usual suspects. No Annalie, no Catherine. So it's the usual. It's the Kate Fahey, Caitlin Christian, Judith Castillo, Paris Todd, Leia, Mary Brasha. Those guys all had good runs. Leia actually had to pull out in the quarters against Paris Todd.
How come?
Something with her diabetes.
And that was in the third game, right?
Second game.
Okay.
But she was clearly physically distraught. She was in tears on the sidelines. She got medical. She said something how she couldn't get her blood sugar down. It was obvious that she was either in crazy pain or extremely frustrated.
Okay.
And in fact, we've seen this. Hopefully she's okay. But it's carried over. She's not playing finals. Mm-hmm. So hopefully her health is okay and she's kind of getting that under control. So Paris beats Leia and she plays Zoe. Chao Yi Wang in semis. And then in the other semi is Judith Castillo. So Night Owls making semis, double semis.
Jim Kloss.
Yeah, Jim. Against Kate Fahey. Kate beats Judith. Zoe beats Paris in a 3-game thriller. And then Championship Sunday. Kate Fahey beats Zoe in the third game 11-9. That is Kate's third gold medal in singles this year.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
No, she's on a roll. Her singles game is very good.
She's still a 6th seed, but she did qualify for finals. And I think with Leia pulling out of finals, I can't remember who the 9 seed was, but somebody else got in as well.
Was it Brasha? Did she get back in?
I think I'll have to look real quick, but yeah, I mean, it shakes things up for sure. And I mean, dude, so Connor Pardo went on Pickleball TV. I don't know if you heard this, and it was at Worlds, and they asked him if about Kate versus Annalie at Worlds, and he said, I think Annalie wins this one, but I think that Kate beats Annalie next year. And I don't think that that's that crazy to say. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's not crazy to say. Do I think it will happen? I don't. I think Annalie is so far ahead of everybody else in women's singles. I do think Kate might have the best chance out of all the women competitors out there. But I mean, I think she could beat her. Say they play 10 times.
Yeah.
Kate could win anywhere from 0 to 2 times, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Is that accurate in your opinion?
I think Annalie is that good. And you're right. Mary Brasha was the 9. So with Leia pulling out, Mary Brasha gets into finals.
Gotcha.
In her home, right down the street from her house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you're right. 0. Look, Annalie is that good. I mean, she is incredible when it comes to singles. I think that her singles game is even better than her women's doubles game, even better than her mixed doubles game with Ben right now. I think singles is where she is the best of the best. And so it's going to take a lot. But do I think that...
What girls' games do you think match up the best for Annalie or is the closest?
I mean, I think you got to have somebody... So there's two... I have 2 thoughts on this. You got to have somebody that is a freak athlete, which I think that Kate Fahey has that athleticism, right? And Kate can get to the net and... but she can also hit those passing shots. But then the other person, which we've talked about this before, who had the best shot was Leia. And that's because Leia is so long and she volleys so well at the net. And so when she would essentially play Annalie, as long as Leia could get to the net, cut off those angles, she did a good job against her. Yeah. Now, recently, Annalie seems to have combated that pretty well, and I don't think they've played a ton against each other. But so that's another person who I think has that size and that length that could maybe give her trouble is Zoe. She could get there as well and kind of use that length and those volleys and kind of be that presence. But you're not going to stand back and hit ground strokes from the baseline against Annalie Waters and beat her. And beating her period is easier said than done. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kate hit some incredible shots. Maybe she could get hot. The other person that I'd love to see play a little bit more singles is Anna Bright. I think Anna Bright is a really good singles player. Yeah, I think she is. I just don't think she likes the toll it takes on your body. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, playing all 3 events. And Annalie is the same way, but Anna Bright's going deep in every single event. So it's tough to play singles too. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a crazy, the gap is that's the biggest gap in pickleball is Annalie Waters and everybody else in singles. Yeah. Right. Okay. Men's singles. We had a big upset. Who was it? Hunter Johnson beats Federico Staksrud. Yeah. I don't know if I'd call that a big upset, but it was an upset. I mean, the way Hunter's been playing lately, it's probably not. The second half of this year, he's a top 2 player in singles. Yeah. I mean, I think that Hunter we watched him beat Connor Garnett at Worlds, right? We've seen him
Did you watch the finals though?
Yeah.
So I did not watch it, but I heard that it almost looked like Fed was either injured or something was different.
He definitely was angry.
Okay.
It was a very weird final. So Hunter wins game 1 like 11-4. Fed break. I think he hit his leg or something. Got mad, got fired up. Fed comes back and wins game 2 11-0. And then Hunter wins game 3 11-3. And yeah, Fed's, I don't know. You don't ever expect that. But we talked about, like, you know, the road to the finals for like Michael Lloyd. I mean, Hunter Johnson had to go through Michael Lloyd, Pablo, and then Fed. That's a pretty tough.
I thought Pablo lost to that guy.
Pablo lost in the semis to Hunter and then lost to Adam Harvey in the bronze.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Have you ever played Adam Harvey?
No, I've seen the name, and I think I've seen him around at a couple tournaments, but I've never played him.
Young guy, I heard. I heard he's a hockey player is what AJ was saying.
Hey, AJ loves those hockey players.
He actually beat Rafa 13. He lost game 1 to Rafa and then beat him 13-11, 11-9.
Wow.
To get to Fed.
Yep.
The other guy that I think that we should talk about a little bit that is making waves in the singles world, and I think that he is. Oh, also Adam Harvey also beat Dylan Frazier.
Yeah, yep. The first round or his second round.
Yeah. So he beat Dylan Frazier, Blaine Havenier, Rafa, and then Pablo. But the other guy is Zane Ford.
Yes.
He's playing well.
Yeah, he rips the ball, and he's got that Yola, and when he's on, he is just fire.
Yeah, I mean, he took Fed to 3 games.
Yeah, I played him in Virginia, and we had a close second game. First game, he came out with just painting lines.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, so he beat Noe. He took Fed to 3.
We've talked about this all the time, but it's interesting. A lot of these guys, they start off with singles. They start off really strong in singles, and then little by little, it translates into doubles.
Yeah.
But most of these guys right now, their doubles game is not anywhere near where their singles is at.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where you got to see who can make that jump, right? Like Noe's been able to make that jump.
Yeah.
You know, he's done a pretty good job. I mean, he had a good run this weekend with Millie. He's been able to make that jump. Kwong has been able to make that jump.
Yep.
So, yeah. Anyways,
mixed
Hunter.
doubles.
Yeah. So Hunter, good win for Hunter. I mean, Hunter Johnson, like you said, he's probably.
I'd say he's a top 2 player in singles for the second half of this year.
You think he passed Ben?
In terms of his results,
and Connor and Kwong.
In terms of his results, yes, and his play.
That's fair. I don't disagree with that. I think.
But I was talking to Connor Garnett the other day, and I mean, singles is so tough. I mean, pickleball is tough in general, but I think within the top 5 to even 10 players in singles, on almost any given day, if any of them get super hot, they can beat one another.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, because it's just to look at what
where is Hunter in the race? Is he 4 or 5?
He's 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So Hunter is 4. If you look at his singles career, he has 11 golds, 9 silvers, 8 bronze.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive.
Hunter does?
Yeah.
Wow.
This year,
he's probably got 70% of those.
Well, this year in singles, he has 2 golds, 2 bronze, 2 silvers.
Okay.
Last year he had. Oh, they must have been counting on other tours.
Yeah, they're counting other. Yeah.
It must have been counting on APP.
Yeah.
Because he had 9 golds last year, so that had to be APP. But this year on the PPA tour full time, 2 golds, 2 bronze, 2 silvers. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, all right. So mixed
doubles.
Mixed doubles. We had a new partnership.
We had quite a few new partnerships.
Yes. We had Anna Bright playing with Dylan Frazier,
her former co-host
of the, what was the name of their pod?
I can't remember. It was with the kitchen.
Yeah, but it had a name, didn't it?
Like Drop It or
the Drop?
I don't know.
The Drop.
I can't remember.
Anyways, Dylan. Dylan hasn't had great success in mixed this year. I think he's like 12 or 13th. He actually is not playing mixed in the finals. And he played a lot of the year with Tyra.
Is he in singles finals? Did he make it?
I believe so.
Is he like?
I believe so. I think he was like 6 or something.
Wow.
I'll look right now. So we can, just because if we're going to talk about Dylan. Dylan is 6.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, mixed doubles. So he was.
He won the first tournament of the year. That helps you.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah. So Jaume was number 8. He passed Christian Alshon.
Wow.
To get into the finals. Tyson was 7. Dylan 6. Kwong 5. Hunter 4. Connor Garnett 3. Ben 2. And Fed 1. Yeah. So new partnership. They play together. They've been friends for a long time. And they end up with a pretty favorable draw, I felt like. I mean, they have Ava Ignatowicz and Ryan Fu to start, which is, that would have been James and Anna had they not broken up.
Yeah.
Playing against his sister and his best friend. And then they get Liz Trulock and Jay. Jay DeVilliers plays his first match back. The bad knee.
Yep.
And then in the quarters, they get Leia and Max Freeman.
Did you see their match with DJ Young?
Yeah.
Their first game or two, they just kept throwing up a bunch of lobs over Jay.
Yeah. Trying to make.
Is that ethical to do? To throw up lobs, to move them when you know your opponent is injured?
100%. If you're there and you're gonna participate, then yeah. It was like when Lee Waters came back from her ACL or whatever, or when the sun was in her eyes. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't take it lightly. She was not happy with it.
No, but listen, do whatever you can to win. I mean, we're going to talk about that in women's doubles too.
Do whatever you can. So substances, anything?
No, I mean, within the rules, Tyler.
Well, substances are not banned at this moment.
Well, then, and there's people taking them.
Should I start taking them next year? I shouldn't say that.
You should just take some holy performance and you'll be fine.
Okay.
So Dylan and Anna Bright, they played Leia and Max Freeman. That went 3, actually. Max Freeman, dude, he's playing well.
He's good.
Yeah.
How long has he been playing? 2 years?
I think no, because in January, I believe it was January or February of this year, maybe it was March, I talked to James Ignatowicz, and now again, take this with a grain of salt. But James said that Max Freeman had literally just picked up a paddle for the first time a few months ago.
Gotcha.
So maybe he's been playing a year.
Yeah.
Or less.
Gotcha.
And he was like, he told me, he said, Jimmy, he's going to be good. He said he was better than me at tennis at Vandy.
Wow.
He's going to be good. And he's grinding.
That footwork.
Yeah.
That James Ignatowicz footwork.
Yeah. And then Hayden and Tyra make a deep run, get to the semis, and play against Dylan and Anna and lose 14-12 in the third.
That's got to be a lot of tension on that court with just a lot of emotion.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're fighting for Anna's heart as well as you are.
Exactly. Who won?
Well, Dylan wins. Doesn't he win?
Well,
I mean, Dylan got all the hugs.
Did Dylan go on the 50-mile hike, or was that Hayden?
He doesn't need to. Did you see him put his hands in Anna's armpits and pick her up?
I did see that. It's been going around everywhere.
Dylan got all the hugs. Like,
he got a lot.
He didn't have to go to Arizona and go on a 50-mile hike to hug Anna.
Yeah.
He just had to win.
Yeah.
And Hayden, unfortunately, wasn't able to do that. Like,
yeah.
I feel like Dylan works smarter, not harder.
Smart.
Yeah. So, on the other side of the bracket, also Hayden and Tyra, actually, they had a good run. They beat Riley and Jackie. They beat Pablo and Mary.
Who took third? Who took bronze?
Bronze was Andre Descu and Megan Dazan.
Okay.
Which, shout out Team Proton.
Yep.
And then Ignatowicz and Rachel played together. I mean, there's a lot of partnerships. So Gabe and Jesse won Salt Lake. They beat Anna and James in Salt Lake. So in Milwaukee, Gabe just is like an indoor guy.
Yeah.
He's the anti-Ben Johns. So then in Milwaukee, Gabe and Jesse play Dylan and Anna. And they end up losing this one in 4. One game won 13-11 and then lose 11-6, 11-9, 11-2. But another great run for Tardio as well.
I was thinking, did you say anything negative about Jessie recently? Is that why she had a run once again? The Jimmy Miller curse.
I've been very positive towards Jessie lately. Yeah. Is she dating Gabe?
I don't know.
Or is just Gabe madly in love with her?
I don't know.
Okay. Just curious. I don't know.
All right. Women's
Did you just
doubles.
start that rumor?
Huh?
Did you just start that rumor?
Wow. Yes, you heard it here first.
Wow. All right.
Women's doubles.
Doubles. This was the fun one.
Okay.
Women's doubles.
Bathroom time.
We had a little bit of a bathroom situation. So we're going to skip all the way to the end.
Okay.
We have Anna Bright, Rachel Rohrabacher taking on Jackie and Jade Kawamoto. They're
Correct.
not, as Jade says, we're not cows.
Okay.
It's not Kawamoto. It's Kawamoto. Okay.
But it's easier to say Kawamoto.
Yeah. But I'm going to pronounce it correctly because I don't want their wrath. All right. So Jackie and Jade come out game one. This was a 2-hour match, by the way.
Was that with all the delays or
Yes,
actual?
including delays.
Okay.
They come out in game one.
So like a 30-minute match then?
They literally didn't miss. I don't think they missed. And they were freaking, I mean, they hit all. Look, those guys don't miss thirds anyways. Mm-hmm. They're moving the ball around. They're manipulating the kitchen. And they win game one 11-4. Mm-hmm. Anna, and it was weird because I felt like Drew Felios and AJ Kohler were calling this. They were just like, after that, they were just like waiting for Anna and Rachel to like just start rolling. Mm-hmm. And so game two, Anna and Rachel, you know, they played really well, ended up beating him 11-6. And it was like, Drew was like, this is what we expected. Mm-hmm. Game three was closer, but again, Anna and Rachel win 11-7. And so at that point, you're like, okay, they kind of got it rolling. So then game four, it's 10-7 match point for Anna and Rachel.
Okay.
And the Jackie and Jade get a stop, get the ball back, and come roaring back and win freaking 12-10. And the game
on winner, one side out or multiple?
One side out.
Uh-huh.
The game winner was this like inside out cross court forehand that literally put Rachel on skates. Like Rachel almost fell over.
Jimmy's not
by Jackie. So then we get to game five.
Okay.
I'm not biased at all.
Okay.
So then we get to game five. It's 5-2 for Jackie and Jade.
Okay.
They're on fire, playing great. And all of a sudden Rachel calls a timeout. Well, you think it's just a normal timeout, right? I mean, it's a good time to call a timeout. And she disappears.
Okay.
15 minutes, 20 minutes later, she comes back. She gets to warm back up.
Well, first of all, was it 15 or was it 20? Because those are different time periods.
Well, I didn't start the clock, but it was at least the full. It was at least 15.
Because if they don't come back within the 15 minutes or whatever the allotted time is, then they should be getting penalized.
The problem with the time doesn't start till medical personnel gets there, but the medical personnel never showed up.
Okay.
So she took a medical timeout and then left.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we don't know when medical personnel or if she ever met with medical personnel.
So what happened? Where'd she go?
So
Jimmy, tell us, where did she go?
Well, here's the situation.
Where did she go?
She comes back and then gets to warm up. And then, truth be told, like, I mean, let's just be very honest because that's what we are. It killed the momentum for the Kawamotos. And Anna and Rachel end up coming back and they win 11-7. Okay. So good for them. Good win. Now, was it strategic?
You sound genuine there. Congratulating them.
I am. I like Anna Bright.
What about the other one? There's two people. There's two people on the team.
She's whatever. So here's the situation. Okay. She was interviewed after and she said she had stomach issues. Okay. And so she left.
Tummy issues.
I assume to go to the bathroom. I don't know where she went. Now, I don't know if that was just like maybe she's embarrassed for what happened. Maybe something else happened. And she didn't want, I mean, look, give
us different scenarios. What could have happened?
I don't know, Tyler. Maybe she was having female issues. I don't know. I'm not a girl. But at the end of the day, like maybe you just don't want to explain it to people and that's okay. Here's my thought on it though. Okay. Did it come at the perfect, like, look, is there ever a good time to have diarrhea or have a stomach ache or start your period? I'm assuming no. Okay. But with that being said, if there was ever a good time, being down 5-2 in game 5 might be the perfect time.
Yeah.
She just missed 3 shots in a row. Right. And she left. And
Maybe if she was feeling better, she would not have missed 3 shots.
And that could be true. Like, that's what I'm saying. That could be true. Again, I don't have I'm not like saying that Rachel was faking it. I don't think Rachel actually needs to explain herself.
That's not what you told me.
That's not true. I don't think Rachel needs to explain herself to anybody. It's her body. It's if she felt that way, and it was within the rules. Okay. But the timing was perfect. The timing could not have been better.
Are you biased?
And no, and the timing worked out for her. That's all I'm saying. Now, I hope she's okay. Look, I told you a story once when I was on a plane. My stomach didn't feel great.
You actually did not tell me that.
I did tell you this story. Literally, the one time you can't use the bathroom on a plane is when you're being pushed back and taxiing. Literally, you can't. I learned this the hard way. Literally had like a flight attendant almost tackle me. Tell me to get back in my seat. And I said, if I get in my seat, they're like, well, then we have to turn around and park. And I was like, wait, I just have to go to the bathroom. Like, dude, you guys still have to spray. It was winter. I was like, you guys still have to freaking de-ice. Like, we got 35, 40 minutes before we're in the air. Let me just go to the bathroom. And they told me no. And then told me they'd have to go back and park the whole plane. I'm not kidding. And I was like, okay, so I went back to my seat. I didn't have a medical timeout left, I guess. And I sat there. I promise you, this is not an exaggeration. And maybe this is TMI, but there was sweat pouring down my face.
Oh my gosh.
I was like doing breathing techniques, trying to get through this. We take off. We literally nose off the ground. And I think the flight attendant knew because I had already got up and they freaking ushered me back to my seat. And as soon as we weren't even at 5,000 feet, and they were like, "Okay, you can go." And I sprinted, almost didn't make it, but I did.
I'm dead.
So I understand, Rachel. I get it. Okay, but the timing was good. That's all. And like I said, Rachel doesn't have to explain herself to anybody. But here's my question:
except for you,
if you take a 15-minute bathroom break. Right? She took the full 15 in there playing Candy Crush, surfing Facebook, watching reels, whatever she was doing.
Yeah.
Should she be allowed a 5-minute warm-up? It's not like she was testing a bad ankle or, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Whatever the rule states. Whatever the rule states.
All right. Well,
I don't know what the rule states with that.
I don't know
when you are allowed. Don, can you chime in? Or Onisha, can you chime in?
Can somebody tell us?
I only thought that
you were able to warm up after
the
going
re-warm up. I mean, I guess the other team theoretically could be warming up
when
they're gone.
Warm up the whole time.
Yeah. But I only thought
they did.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought you could only warm up if there was a rain delay or something like that, where you had to move.
Oh, she warmed up.
Gotcha.
Came back, ended up winning the match. So you know what? Maybe she didn't feel well, and she got it out of her system, and she felt better, and they won. But that's all I'm saying. And then people were like, "Oh, you're conspiracy theory." There's no conspiracy. I'm just telling you the timing was good. The timing worked out for her.
All right.
Also, she wasn't yelling as much. In fact, she was hardly yelling. Anna was actually yelling more than her.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anna's one of those players that she's got to feed off of energy. But maybe Rachel didn't feel well, so she didn't have it in her to yell. She was just fighting through it, trying to grind through it.
Yeah.
Like I was on that flight.
Yeah. Was she sweating?
I'm sure she was. So,
all right, men's doubles.
Also, Lisa and Tyra took bronze.
Nice. Yeah.
They've been playing well.
Yep.
All right, men's doubles.
Did she go to Disneyland with them?
No.
Elise? She should have gone to Disneyland.
Big Rube.
Rube
and Tyra?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Should we get them on the pod together?
Is that a thing? Or is it just friends?
I don't know. They've been hanging out quite a bit.
Tyra's mom watches the pod. Shout out to Tyra's mom.
Nice.
Is she learning right now about Rube and Tyra going to Disneyland together?
All right, men's doubles.
You don't want to talk about this?
We can talk about it. I don't care.
I mean, they were at Cinderella's castle. I don't think, or was it Sleeping Beauty's castle? Sleeping Beauty's castle. I don't think it gets more romantic than that with the fireworks and.
Fireworks are great.
Isn't that how you propose to Brit in front of the castle?
It is not.
Oh, okay. All right, men's doubles.
Men's doubles once again.
So you got this phone call about a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
From James Ignatowicz.
Yes.
Asking you to play Milwaukee.
Yes.
And you...
So back up even more. So initially for San Clemente this year, I was supposed to play with Noe Cleef.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe a week or a couple of weeks before San Clemente happened, James reached out.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, my partner backed out or he dropped or he's not able to do it. Are you able to play? We did so well the last time we played together. I enjoy playing with you, everything like that.
Yeah.
And James, at this time, he was a top 10, top 15 player.
Yeah.
And obviously I was trying to improve my ranking and we had a lot of success together. And with Noe, this would have been our second tournament together. Yeah. Anyways, long story short, I ended up playing with James Ignatowicz. And so I had to let Noe know that, hey, I'm playing this tournament with James. Fast forward to now. Yeah. You can continue.
Well, wait a minute. Then you were supposed to play another one with James. After, and we talked about this on the pod. Yeah. After you dropped somebody for James and showed some loyalty, he drops you for Deckel.
Yes.
In an event that you're supposed to play.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, kind of a dick move, James, I'll be honest. And so, anyways, he reaches out to you and wants to play Milwaukee.
Yes, and I'm supposed to play Milwaukee with Noe.
Yeah. And you deciding that you owe Noe and you're going to be loyal, tell James no.
Yeah.
So James gets CJ Klinger. He's like, fine, I'll get another lefty.
Yep.
So he gets CJ Klinger. Now you're about an hour, 2 hours from getting on your flight.
Yeah. Yep.
And Noe calls you.
Yeah. Shoots me a text. He says, hey, what time do you get in tonight?
Yeah.
And I was like, I get in late. Sorry. And then he said, I'm not able to play tomorrow. I have an emergency back home. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. And so he had to pull out. So Noe, hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
You ended up, thankfully, not getting on your flight.
Yep.
So you weren't there, just kicking it in Milwaukee.
Yep.
And James makes a deep run to the finals.
He made a deep run to the finals.
With CJ Klinger. So it kind of worked out.
A little disappointing because I like Noe. He's a great player. And we had a very favorable draw.
Yeah, you did.
Very favorable draw.
Yeah,
you did. So would have been fun. I don't know exactly what was going on with Noe. Hopefully, like Jimmy said, everything is okay and he's able to keep competing. But yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, Blaine Hovenier and Julian Arnold made the semis. I mean, and that was your side of the bracket.
How do you feel about Julian?
Andiamo?
Yeah.
It's great. That dude.
Okay. Any other men's matches?
I mean, you know, Gabe, Tardio, and
So I was very surprised. Hayden and Riley, they play together.
Yeah.
And they come off of a gold at Worlds.
Yeah.
And they end up losing in quarters.
Yes.
And they got pickled in game 2.
They did. Now, they did play Fed and Gabe, who won it all.
But pickled.
But just fun fact, Hayden and Riley lost 11-7, 11-0. DJ Young and Nick Black lost 12-10, 11-1. So DJ Young and Nick Black are better than Hayden and Riley. I mean, obviously.
Nick Black.
Nick Black. Maggie has been doing wonders with that guy.
Yeah, Vinny,
he's been out there with the Brasha family. So Gabe and Fed, then they play Andre and Pablo, end up beating them. Hunter and Rafa have had some pretty good. Hunter is just playing great.
He is playing well. Would they get quarters or semis?
They got quarters.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they lost to Andre and Pablo.
Did they have what was their draw like? Was it tough or was it a pretty favorable draw?
Tom Protzek and Alexander Gauthier.
Okay, who was their next?
Johnson, Cola, and Zane.
Okay, who was their next?
Andre and Pablo.
Okay.
So, by the way, Andre and Pablo almost didn't make it out of the round of 16.
Who were they playing?
Scarpa and Ivan.
Your turn.
Yahalovich. That's pretty good. Ivan, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
They lost game 1, and then they were down in game 2, and they ended up winning 11-9 in the second.
Yeah.
And then beat them in the third.
Yep.
So you want to shout out Jim Kloss for that? Because everything that anybody that Jim Kloss has ever said is good he gets credit for.
I like Jim Kloss. He's great.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. You guys are 2 peas in a pod.
Do you like him?
I'm going to plead the 5th.
I thought it was the first.
The First Amendment?
The third.
The Second Amendment? Out of my cold, dead hands? That's something that Jim Kloss would say. Guarantee that he has like that shirt. Guaranteed.
Right. So finals.
Jim Kloss is a member of the
It was
NRA.
Ignatowicz and Klinger. Klinger's been on a tear recently.
Yeah, Klinger's been playing well. Ignatowicz and Klinger against Gabe and Fed, and unfortunately, they did not play well.
It was 3 games, right?
It was 5-2 and 3.
Gotcha.
It was a beatdown
Gotcha.
of epic proportions. Absolutely blasted them.
Yeah.
And then
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
What was going on?
I mean, theirs is better. James missed a lot of shots. Gabe's hands are too good. He was speeding everything up. Fed, dude, I mean, Fed has got to be your player of the year. That's a nuts 4 doubles golds now?
Yeah. I mean, he'd probably be contender for top 2 or 3. You'd have to consider Gabe.
You still probably have to consider Ben.
You have to consider Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. Top 2, I would think.
Yeah. So, big win for them. Yeah, I think that's Gabe's 3rd or 4th as well.
Okay.
So, fun fact, Tyler. Next year, and we have been talking about this since as long as we've been doing the pod. I've been saying this. I've been saying that Julie has been grooming Gabe, not like that, to take over for Dylan. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's finally happening. Next year.
As of now, because it seems like every single week something new changes.
But it does look like as of now, Gabe and J-Dub are going to play quite. Now, Dylan and J-Dub are still going to play some, but Gabe and J-Dub are going to play quite a few events together next year.
Yeah.
And Dylan is going to, and then Gabe's going to play a few with Hayden, but Hayden and Fed are going to play a lot together. Mm-hmm. And then Dylan is kind of looking for somebody that, will fit his style and matches up well.
Sure.
So what do you think about that? Do you think that Julie and the Johnsons are giving up on Dylan too soon? Or do you think it's mutual?
I'm not very familiar with that group out there. I see them at tournaments. I talk to them, whatever, but I don't know what goes on at their training, their practices, all that stuff. Yeah.
Do you blame Julie?
I think she's a pretty instrumental part in their choices, their choice making.
Her call?
I think at least historically, yes. Okay. A lot of influence. Now as they are in their 20s, I think they're starting to be a little bit more autonomous, but...
should it be her influence?
To each their own.
Okay, that's fair.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Gabe has 5 golds and 2 silvers this year in men's doubles.
That's awesome.
That's impressive.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Have you been to Mexico?
I have.
Have you played pickleball there?
I actually have.
Did you get drop kicked in the face?
I did not get drop kicked in the face.
Did you see that video?
Yes. I did not end up in a Mexican prison.
I can't tell you how many non-pickleball friends of mine came up to me and talked to me about that video.
Dude, it's gone completely viral. So for those that have been living under a rock and haven't seen it, essentially this dude named Pete is playing in a tournament. He wins the match, starts walking to the net.
He's very vocal.
Starts yelling, F yeah, woo! And then the dude goes, the little guy, he's like just a little tiny guy, small man syndrome. Pete goes to tap his paddle, and Pete kind of slaps his paddle hard. Mm-hmm. Now, Pete claims that he didn't mean to knock it out of his hand, but, bro, you did. And Pete leans over the net, which was a cheap, flimsy, portable net. Had they been using a C&D net, there's no way. Pete honestly would have protected himself because you can't lean over that net in this same way and get as low to the ground as he's able to because this dude was tiny. He couldn't kick his leg very high. And so Pete leans over, goes to pick up the dude's paddle that he knocked out of his hand, and he gets a straight up soccer kick to the face.
Yep.
Boom. Out.
Knocks him out.
Out. Pete's little dude's partner is turned around and has no idea what's happening. Some lady runs over, right, and tries to break it up. Little guy just walks off. Cobra Kai gets all pissed off and leaves, and it was mayhem. And allegedly, Pete lost his memory for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Probably a good thing because he acted like a douche when he won that. However, I'm not condoning.
Are you condoning violence?
I'm not condoning that Pete deserved to get kicked in the face, but he was a dickhead. And he like sent the video in, and it's like, bro.
So you're condoning the violence. You're condoning the kick to the face.
No, there's no.
So when people scream, so when Anna Bright, when Rachel Rohrbacher, when Hayden Patrickman, when they scream like that, you can expect people to kick them in the face.
No, I don't think they should be kicked in the face, but I think it's okay for people to scream back and not be cool with it and not just sit there and take it.
But I thought you were for the screaming.
I am, but that's what I'm saying. It's okay if somebody reacts. That's okay.
So kicking is okay.
But kicking
Jimmy
is too far.
Says it's okay if you kick somebody in the face.
Kicking is too far.
How do you feel about punching?
Punching is too far. Look,
what about grabbing a ball and smacking it at somebody?
I think physical violence, we don't need a place for that in our sport.
Knocking a paddle out of someone's hand, is that physical?
I think he started it. Now look, if that dude would have just like got in his face and yelled at him and told him he's a dick, then cool. Did he need to be booted in the face? Probably not. However, I'm going to guess that Pete hasn't been punched in the face ever in his life. And he may think twice, but I'm not condoning it. I don't think it should have happened. I think little dude.
Pete's coming after you.
Little dude should be in a Mexican prison somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
And I've seen freaking those movies. Okay. I don't think he would last. Now, I will say this.
Kick everybody.
I will say this. Just from a pure like MMA fighting standpoint, it wasn't a bad move when dude leaned over the net. You had him. He was in a vulnerable position and you took advantage. And he straight up booted him. Right?
Oh.
But that brings me to my point.
If they had a C&D pickleball net.
You lean over that C&D net. It's not folding. It's not bending. That net folded faster than Pete did.
Yeah.
And you're not doing that. So what that dude would have had to do is he would have had the protection of the C&D between him and little thug. And he would have been able to.
Bro, he's sending his cousins after you.
I hope so. The little guy's running after me. Ah! Right?
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, the freaking Oompa Loompas are coming. So anyways, he would have had that protection and he could have stood there and they could have yelled at each other, but the C&D.
Like grown men just standing there yelling.
Like grown men yelling.
Yeah.
But the C&D would have saved the violence. There
Which
would have
brings
not
us
been
to
violence with C&D.
C&D is a sponsor of KOTC podcast, and they're also a sponsor of this segment. Thank you
and
to
they
C&D
may be
for
a sponsor of the Wizard of Oz soon.
Thank you.
Welcome you to Munchkin Land. Go ahead.
That's too much.
I'm just saying, the guy was small. He had small man. So he probably drives a big jacked up truck. You know he does. Huge jacked up truck. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Were they American citizens? Or
I have no idea, but keep them there.
All right. Thank you, C&D Pickleball Nets, for sponsoring this segment. They have a new net that we've talked about in the past. Yeah. It's coming soon. We can't give too many details, but it's essentially going to be roughly around half the cost of their current net, while maintaining the same quality of their net.
Yeah. We're super pumped about it. It is kind of that middle tier option, right? It'll still protect you from getting booted in the face, but may not, for somebody that doesn't want to spend that full price of the C&D and maybe needs something that's a little more mid-tier. It's incredible. Same quality, same technology.
All right. Pickleball is moving. Let's get on to MLP Finals.
Finals.
This week, when this releases, they will most likely be playing. And so we have the semifinals now.
Yeah.
For both Premier and Challenger. And for Challenger, all 4 teams that are in the semis will move up to Premier next year.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So give us the rundown. The Fives are playing who?
The Ranchers. And the Shock are playing the Flash.
Playing Flash.
Quick reminder.
And this is, once again, a 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Match.
Yep. Yeah.
Total.
Yep. So $200,000 total prize money on the line. The Fives, so they were the number 1 seed, so they got to choose. Mm-hmm. And they chose the Ranchers over the Flash.
Was that a good choice?
I guess it remains to be seen. I think it's interesting because I do think that the Ranchers with Christian, Kwong. So here's the thing. The Fives are built to win Dream Breakers. right? And that's what they've done all year. Is what they've essentially done is they'll go 2-2, and then they're the best Dream Breaker team. But if there's any team that can hang with the fives in the Dream Breaker, it's the Ranchers. At least the Ranchers men, right?
Yep.
Because Kwong is better than any of the fives men.
But their females are quite a bit lower.
They are, but are Kwong
Tina and Etta, right?
Yeah. But are Kwong and Christian good enough to keep the Ranchers in it in a Dream Breaker?
They might go split. They might go 50-50. But best case scenario, they go 60, maybe 70-30 to 40. But their women, I would give almost 80% to
but look
fives.
so look at the Flash. J-Dub, Augie.
Yeah.
Augie's not a great singles player.
He's fine.
He's okay, but he's not like...
No, I would imagine he would split.
I don't think Augie's as good as Will or Zane.
No, but Dream Breaker, I would say he would go 40 to 50%.
Tyra and Georgia. Was Annalie scared to play Tyra? Is that what happened? She was scared to play Tyra in a Dream Breaker after Tyra beat her and then retired.
You and your conspiracy.
The ultimate boss move was Tyra doing that.
Yeah.
I would take her to Disney World too if I was Ruben.
Okay. So who do you think wins that?
Okay, so I think that the fives beat the Ranchers.
2-0, 2-1.
2-1. I think that the Ranchers are able. I mean, if Christian's healthy.
Can you do the chant?
No.
Real quick.
So stupid.
Real quick.
No. Gosh, it's horrible.
Real quick. 1.
But dude,
2. Or do they count down? No, they count
I have
up.
no idea which way they go. But I think that Tina and Etta. This is what I think happens. I think that the fives win the first game.
They're going to get
First match.
Okay.
I think Tina and Etta beat Annalie and Mari.
Okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter.
And then they end up winning the second, and then the fives win the third.
We'll see.
And it's the Tina and Etta beating Annalie and Mari. That's the difference.
Okay.
Because if Annalie loses, they're done.
All right. Next.
The Shock and the Flash. The Shock have been riding high all year.
Mm-hmm.
I actually called the match between the Shock and the Flash in Las Vegas, and the Shock rolled them.
So Gabe will be going against Julie.
Gabe against Julie and J-Dub.
Yeah.
I think the Shock win that, and I think we see the 1 and the 2 seeds in the finals.
Okay.
And I have the Shock winning it all.
You have the shocking.
They don't really shock anybody, but I have the Shock shocking, hopefully Ryan Harwood.
Okay.
Shocking the world, shocking the clowns.
Okay. Real quick, Challenger.
Challenger. Listen, all that I care about for Challenger.
Oh, we posted an update, and other people did as well, but Xiaomei will not be playing.
Yeah, so Xiaomei is out for the Bouncers. He is dealing with some personal things. I guess it's an approved absence. He's got some personal issues he's dealing with, some stuff back home in Hawaii, so he will not be there. So the Bouncers have Scarpa.
But
the Slice
did not Xiaomei tell the team that he would not be playing?
He told them in advance, yes.
In advance.
Yes. Like they've known since Miami, I think. And
yeah.
The Slice are without Brandon Long.
What happened there?
He has a hip injury.
Okay.
So the Slice have Wyatt Stone stepping in. So you have Jack Monroe, Wyatt Stone, Allison Harris, and Megan Fudge.
Okay.
And now you have Xiaomei. You have Scarpa, Todd Fote,
the GOAT.
Fote, the GOAT, who, by the way, was up for Most Improved Player, which is weird because he won the Super Finals MVP.
Yeah. I don't know how that works.
I don't know how you get Most Improved.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then you have Yana and Irina. You have Susanna Barr and Emily Ackerman.
Okay.
So, and then on the other side,
she was a bear too. You guys cut her.
Yeah, once a bear, always a bear.
Mo Alhouni.
Now, the only thing that I'll be really honest with you, I love Tim Parks. That's my dude. I just don't want him to win. I don't want to listen to him. I don't want to hear him brag about it for another freaking offseason.
Yeah.
Winning another title. He already claims that his heart aches.
Will he be there with his sandals?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He is. He's flying down on the PJ.
Yeah.
I just can't. His Jesus sandals. Probably because he feels like he's comparative. It's that guy.
Yeah.
I just don't want to listen to him for another freaking 6 months talk about how great his team is and back-to-back champs.
I guess you guys should have drafted a better team.
So as much as I love Tim, I really hope Miami wins. Now listen, then you got to hear Johnny Goldberg. It's kind of pick your poison. Pick your poison.
Who would you rather listen to for 6 months, Tim or Johnny?
I'd rather listen to Leanne. So Leanne, I hope the Bouncers win.
Okay.
All right. Either way, that's an interesting one. I actually think that the Slice win that over the Bouncers without Jame.
Really?
And then I think that Hard Eights beat Miami. And then truthfully, like if I had to put money on it, I think the Hard Eights win it all. I hope they don't. I hope Purple Jesus can go save blue whales in Africa somewhere, but I think they do.
Okay. We will do more in-depth coverage on MLP in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
Real quick, there's a pretty significant update with UPA and their paddle testing process / updates. So give us the rundown there.
Yeah, so UPA has essentially come out and said that they've posted their list essentially of the teams that have agreed, or the team manufacturers that have agreed to pay the fee. First of all,
So what UPA is? What, United Pickleball Association
of America,
and they're essentially trying to be the USA Pickleball. And they're their own governing body, and they want to have standards for equipment, paddles, everything that goes on in the pickleball space.
Yep. And so basically what happened was there's a deadline of November 15th. You had to submit your paddles by that deadline and agree to a fee, which was essentially all in. The fee was it like $60,000 or $70,000 all in? Ended up being $20,000 a paddle plus all, I don't remember the exact numbers. I don't have it in front of me. And then they basically sent out this update that said that what they're trying to do is level the playing field, right?
And I think most brands actually agree with what they're doing. It's just the fees that they have attached to it and necessarily what it means is a little bit in the gray area.
Yeah.
So
what I thought was interesting is they sent this to the players, right?
Yes.
So what they did was they sent this to the players and they said, here's the list of compliant manufacturers. And it's, and I'll just read it. It's Adidas.
Well, it's provisional too.
Provisional,
it's
yes.
Not, it's essentially intent.
They've applied for provisional approval. And it's Adidas, Aereo. Who plays with Aereo?
I've never heard of that.
Avora, which is the Dawson's new, Callan Dawson's new. Carbon, Franklin, Gearbox, Head, Holbrook, Hustle.
Haven't heard of them.
Yola, Lotto, Knox.
Haven't heard of them.
Onyx, Paddletech, Pickle. ProKenix, Proton, ProXR, Reload, which I thought was the skins. But is Reload a paddle too?
It might be a paddle.
Revlin, 6-0, Thrive, Volair, Vulcan, and Wilson. Now, two big names notably absent. Selkirk, which has, I don't know how many players at this point.
They have been well, I don't know about dropping, but players have been leaving them a little bit, but they still have, I would say, at least 10 to 15 top players.
Yeah, and then Engage.
Engage
still has Jesse and Alex Trong.
Yeah.
They've dropped everybody else. But the interesting thing is it says, if your manufacturers, we're pleased to report that nearly every paddle manufacturer currently used on tour has applied for provisional approval, representing 93 of the paddle brands tested on site. However, if your manufacturer is not on the list, it's critical to contact them immediately to confirm their participation.
And that's what I was trying to talk to Connor about, is because what if you're a player on the tour and your company that sponsors you?
So what they're doing is they're pushing the players to push their paddle sponsors to get approved. Selkirk's the big player here.
Yeah.
If Selkirk refuses, what happens? Jack Sock can't play
exactly
with his paddle on tour. Dylan Frazier.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying.
Kyle Motos are with Selkirk.
Would PPA either help them find a new sponsor that is equal or more, or would they pay them themselves?
Yeah.
That's a tough
situation. I'll be very honest with you. I mean, there's those are four. Obviously, Jack is a top 25 player at this point.
Catherine Parento.
Parento. I mean, but there's 3 of your top 10 women, and Dylan's, we just talked about Dylan. I mean, if I'm one of these other manufacturers, I definitely licking my chops right now.
Yep.
And hoping that Selkirk doesn't pay that money.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than people know.
Yeah.
And so I don't know when more will come to light.
Paris Todd get out just in time? Tyson got out just in time?
I mean, who knows?
So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, could you see PPA actually forcing this?
I think enough of these manufacturers have applied at this point.
Yeah, but once again, that's intent.
I agree.
They
I agree.
No money has actually been exchanged
I
except
agree.
for one manufacturer that I'm aware of.
Yeah, Yola. I agree, but with all these paddle manufacturers saying that they're in, I think that it's enough for PPA to hold firm.
But what happens to all those players? Because it's not just 1 or 2 or even 5.
I think
that's going to be at least.
The
15.
reality is this: what happens is Selkirk has to let them out of their contracts because Selkirk has an obligation.
Yeah, but what if those players can't go get same or equivalent
Then the players
contracts?
lose money, and hopefully PPA is able to help them find other
that's what I'm getting.
other
at.
deals.
Like, something.
But dude, I'm pretty sure that a lot of these deals, Jack signed like a multi-year deal.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of these other players' deals are up at the end of the year anyways.
Yeah, I mean, some of them. I think
Yeah.
more of the bigger ones, Catherine, I think most of them get locked into multi-year deals.
Speaking of one of the paddle manufacturers on this list, Vulcan. The official ball.
Dude, we're just tying these sponsors into these stories like
The
no one
official
else.
ball of Pro Pickleball. That's all we're going to say.
Exactly.
Because there's 2 Pro Tours. There's the PPA and there's the MLP, and this is the official ball. of
Exactly.
both.
If you want to use the ball that the pros play with on the PPA side and the MLP side, use the Vulcan V Pro Flight.
And clearly the ball from a manufacturer that supports their pro players and wants them to be able to continue to use their paddles and has paid the fee.
Guys, if you don't know what to get people for Christmas, you can get them paddles, but also if they already are playing pickleball, balls.
Yes. Balls.
Players, people can never have enough pickleballs
Yes, it's true.
in their life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now look, these balls do last a really long time, so it's not like the olden days of a certain manufacturer where it was literally like cracking over and over and over again. But balls. Everybody needs balls. So
Go to vulcansportinggoods.com and use code KOTC for the best price possible.
Yes.
And you will get the best gift for whoever you're getting gifts for.
yeah, for the holidays.
Yep, they'll love you.
Do you love Christmas?
Christmas is great. I love
You're
Christmas.
a big Christmas guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
What expensive electronic are you asking for?
Too many things. Pudgies, that's all I care about.
Oh boy.
Dude, do you see Bitcoin?
Bro, Bitcoin.
94K. It's going to hit 100K in the next 1 to 2 weeks.
You're a big Bitcoin guy.
Big crypto guy.
Big crypto guy over here. Huge.
All right, anything else? Questions?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, that's
Okay, real quick. All right, so we've been made known that we need to educate you guys about why taking Holy and having electrolytes in your body is beneficial for your health. Jimmy, take us away.
Yeah, so the biggest thing with Holy, I think that we really want to hit on is that you guys, water is fine. Okay,
Water is good. You need to
is
drink water.
great. Drink your water.
Yep.
But Holy has electrolytes. Electrolytes helps you from cramping. It actually helps you hydrate faster, helps your endurance. And even when you're playing indoors, because we only think, oh, I only need electrolytes when it's hot and I'm sweating and it's summertime. But you actually need electrolytes anytime you play pickleball and to replenish that. Also helps with the soreness after you play.
Yep.
And it allows you to play multiple hours. I know some of you are going out there, it's Christmas breaks coming up, families coming into town, you're going to be playing 6, 7, 8 hours a day. So you need your electrolytes. Go check out Holy Performance. Again, I'm a massive, massive fan. The pregame is kind of your pre-workout we've talked about. They've got the in-game, which is your electrolytes.
I really like the end game.
Yeah.
The end game is great.
great.
Yep.
Post-game is, like I said, BCAAs. It's got the glutamine. It's got everything that you need for recovery. And then they actually now, and they've had this, but they have greens.
Yeah.
So you want to get your greens in?
Yep.
Holy. Anything you need, check them out. They're doing a massive Black Friday sale.
And our code works
and
with
our code stacks.
Yep.
No pun intended, stack. Our code stacks on top of Holy.
Yep.
So I believe I can say this because I'm going to anyways. With our code, it's 45% off. You will never get it cheaper anytime. Never be less expensive. So if you've wanted to try it, if you trust us and that we choose the best brands for all of our fans. Oh, that rhymed.
Wow, look at you.
The best brands for our fans. That's trademark. Don't steal it. Go check out holyperformance.com and use code KOTC.
Yep.
And cash in on that Black Friday sale. I promise you'll love it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Moving on to questions. So once again, if you're interested in submitting questions, most of the time we open this up on Instagram 1 to 2 days before we actually record the podcast. We did not have that many questions come in, but we'll get through them.
Well, I got one from the Discord.
Okay, go ahead.
Sizi? S-I-Z-I? How do you say that?
I don't know.
Question for KOTC. Mainstream legal betting on pickleball appears even more unlikely today than it did a year or two ago, given the evident lack of professionalism within the PPA organization. Is this a situation you can see changing?
What do they mean by organization, as in players or
I think they
actual
mean
employees?
I think they mean more how things are ran and as a players. Just for example, you can't have players tanking, right? If there's going to be betting, you can't have players essentially, that's the biggest thing is not giving effort, tanking, things like that.
Yeah. All right. Give me specific examples of people in PPA tournaments that have tanked.
I mean, really, there's not a lot. It's more of the Ben and Colin Johns MLP thing. I mean, the Ben Johns versus Roscoe match where he was complaining about the ball and just kind of checked out in singles is probably one example. But with that being said, everything has got to be, if there's gambling
Tanking
on matches,
is extremely difficult to prove.
it is.
It's almost
agree.
impossible.
I agree, and so I don't think that really is playing a huge role. I think what plays the biggest role in gambling, and there is gambling in like 10 states, by the way, right now. And there's gambling in Wyoming on pickleball. We should drive up there. But I think the biggest thing is there's not enough data collected yet for them to make reasonable lines.
Yeah.
So I went and looked at Milwaukee lines. There's three men's doubles matches that you could bet on from Milwaukee. And I went and looked at them over the weekend. And one of them was Rafa. No, it was Jay. And who did Jay play men's with? Yates. In their first round match. And they were like minus.
Who's making the lines though?
Just the casinos are making the lines. So that's what I'm saying. There's not a ton of data on there. So but the lines were like minus 800 and minus 700, which is huge. And there's no chance that Jay and Yates were going to get upset in the round of 64 by two quality guys.
Yeah.
And so it's like the lines are so outrageous, which they should be in that round, that nobody was going to place bets on those anyways. I mean, minus 800, you literally, you bet $100, you win $8. That's not worth the risk really there. And so I think that as pickleball starts to evolve and there becomes more data and people start collecting more data, then we'll see more gambling. But there has to be gambling in pickleball. Like that has to be a goal because that's how you get the casual fans. Do you think that there's people that are huge, massive fans of horse racing and they're like, follow the horse? No, but they love the gambling aspect of it, right? I mean, there are people that love horse racing, but they love the gambling aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's the same with every sport, right? People just love the UFC. The UFC is huge. I mean, yes, it's exciting.
Did you watch Paul versus Tyson? Tyson?
Yeah. There's another one, right? Like people. There's 60 million people watch.
What'd you think of that?
I think that Netflix buffering is a struggle.
I didn't have it. I only had one instance where it was struggling.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Netflix has 2 NFL games on Christmas Day, so hopefully they fix that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Tyson was. I mean, he was outmatched. I mean,
Was it rigged?
I mean, I think he gassed out, dude. I think he gave everything he had in the first round.
But did you see his videos of him training Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Those look completely different from him in
but
the ring.
at the end of the day, he's still 58.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was just insane. So, but again, people watch that because one, it's a freak show. We all love a freaking freak show.
Yeah.
But also because you could gamble on it, you could bet on it, and those are the things that pickleball. I think pickleball really needs to kind of elevate the sport to the casual fan.
Yeah.
So,
okay, moving on. Somebody said, I'd like opinions on PPA Junior maybe bumping up the age limit to 18. What is it right now? 16?
I think it's 16.
Okay.
And I think somebody said it's like all one. It used to be like all one bracket.
Yeah, I think they'd combine them. I think like every 4 years or so.
Now it's like 8 to 12
Yeah.
and 12 to 16.
Yeah. I imagine they would as more and more juniors come out. At Worlds, I think they had over 150, maybe even 200 juniors signed up. So once that number grows to what, 300 to 400 per tournament, I could easily see them bumping it up.
Yeah, I would love to see them bump it up to 18 and let 16 to 18-year-olds play in juniors.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we want to go next gen APP where there's like 23-year-olds, 30-year-olds. But yeah, by the way, Nationals happened. And I don't know if anybody saw it because it aired on QVC, the home shopping network.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me. But I guess QVC is huge in Middle America. I didn't know that. I didn't know if you could watch and then you could buy like a KitchenAid mixer on a payment plan while you're watching pickleball.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be something cool. But Chris Hayworth won.
Yeah. Go Chris
But
Hayworth.
did you see the video between Jana and Emily Ackerman, Emily Cedarquist, and Megan Fudge and Jilly B?
I did not. What was it?
So a ball was hit down the line, and clear as day in the video, Megan Fudge says, "That's in." Goes like this. And Jilly B, of course, being Jilly B, says, No, that ball was out. Okay? So the referee looks over essentially and says, "What's your call?" And Jana says, "Well, Megan called it in, so that means it's in." And Megan says, "No, I didn't. I didn't call it in. Tyler, I promise you, plain as day, she called it in. 100%.
Maybe she was just stretching her arm.
No.
I do this all the time.
No, this was the biggest in call. This was worse than the Black Bears, Michelle Esquivel, where Rafa looked like he was starting to call it in and then kind of pulled back. This was clearly in. She looked right at him, and then she essentially lied about it. Like, I hate to say it, but she lied. Okay. And then the replay showed that the ball was literally right. It was very close, but it did show that the ball was out. So they did actually get the call correct.
Which is all that matters.
It is all that matters, other than the fact that they would have never challenged it. There wouldn't have been a challenge, or they wouldn't have had to use a challenge.
So Jilly B was right. She comes in with a Hawkeye.
Jilly B was actually right. However, the lying and the I just felt like, I mean, Jana got pissed. I just felt like had she been honest about it, then they would have had to use a challenge as opposed to Jana and Emily.
Yeah.
You know, and it just, I don't know. I think that's a really, really poor look.
Yep.
Right. So anyways, and then it just caused the whole hoopla. And then Ryler got on the internet and protected his wife, which props to him, rightfully so.
Yep.
And then he changed the narrative. He said, "Well, why aren't we talking about all these hot paddles? That's the real issue." Yeah. So anyways.
Not breaking news, but we just got a message in the Discord, and somebody just bought tickets to MLP Orlando. It was going to be $180, and they saved $52.
Wow.
Or something like that.
Wow.
They saved $52 with our code.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if you're interested in using code KOTC for MLP or PPA tournaments, for event registration or spectators, you can use code KOTC.
Just to be clear, he says, "Good discount, Tyler." And then he tags me and says, "Thanks for not selecting me for the VIP
He says
tickets."
not in capital.
Yeah. First of all, we did give away Black Bears.
Why didn't you select him?
Shout out Jessica Cunningham and her husband.
Okay.
Big KOTC fans. It was a random drawing. I'm not going to rig it. I'm a fair guy. Although I did have my integrity questioned on Twitter.
By who? Jim Claus?
Some random dude was like, this is really rich coming from you talking about integrity. And I was like, I'm a lot of things, but I feel like I have pretty good integrity.
All right, moving on. Adam Stone said on his pod that J-Dub and Dylan are donezo. Is this true? We talked about that earlier. As of now, it looks like they will not be playing the majority of the tournaments. However, as of now, they should be playing.
They still will play some, but it looks like we're going to have some Tardio and J-Dub. We're going to have some Tardio and Hayden. We're going to have Fed and Hayden, Fed and Tardio. You're going to have Dylan. Yeah. I think that Dylan wants to play some left.
He's a left side guy. Let him out.
He wants to play some left, and I think that Dylan's been bottled up by Julie Johnson and the Johnson clan far too long. I'm just kidding, Julie. Don't get mad. It's a joke. But I think Dylan wants to play some left. I think we let him.
Tyler, goals for the 2025 season. Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, Tyler, what are your goals?
I have a lot of goals, but my main one would be I want to have more success on the double side. So this year, I felt like I was mostly getting to quarters. I think I had 1 finals and maybe 2 or 3 semis and a lot of quarterfinals. I'd love to get a lot more semis and a lot more finals. So by the end of the year, I'd like to make the finals for next year. I'd love to be top 10. Whether or not that's possible, we'll see.
Is that your goal?
That is my goal, yeah, top 10.
I feel like you just said a lot more
than just saying top 10.
You got to go specific.
Top 10.
Okay.
I also do want, I don't know if I want to put a number on it, but I'd like to make a lot more finals. Me and Connor, we've beaten a lot of the teams, a lot of the good teams. However, we haven't done it in the right tournaments.
Okay.
So we need to start doing it in the tournaments.
Are you playing with Connor all of 2025?
We're starting out the year together, first few months, and seeing how it goes.
What about mixed?
I'm starting off with Lina Padegamaite.
Okay.
At least for a few, and then we'll see how it goes.
I love Lina. She's a bear. She's a bear.
Once a bear.
Shout out the Bears.
All right, this gets political. Jimmy is the Donald Trump of the pickleball world. Can you do the YMCA?
No, I can't, but that's been going everywhere now. I don't know. Let's just pass on that.
Our guy, Angel. He wrote in, he said, cars Tyler and Jimmy would love to own and drive.
Well, Angel, anything that you have, honestly. You know what I watched? Bro, this is great.
For the longest time, I thought he lived in Florida.
He lives in Overland Park.
I know.
Kansas City.
I know.
You know what I watched? I couldn't sleep. I have a little bit of a cold, if you can't tell. I didn't feel great last night.
Okay.
I think you do too.
Maybe.
Are we hanging out too much?
Yeah,
today?
we've been sleeping. I'm cutting that out.
Wow.
We've been sleeping in the same house.
Point is, I couldn't sleep. You know what I watched last night?
What?
The original Fast and the Furious.
Classic. Paul Walker.
Yes, classic. The original one.
They don't make them like they used to.
No, but that Supra is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Not that would be the car. That
I growing up, it's funny. I did not care about cars at all until I was in college.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just turned on me. But growing up, I did like the Mitsubishi Evo.
Oh, the Evo?
Yeah, the Evo.
The Eclipse? The Evo.
The Evo. Yeah. Evolution.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that they use in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, yes. Remember the Eclipses?
Yeah.
Those are cool back in the day.
I didn't like them.
They're super popular.
All right, so what cars would you own? Give me 5. 3 to 5.
5? Bro, I'm not a car guy like you. So I think that this is a better question.
Come on.
I would buy like a Ford Raptor. Like I would buy like, yeah. You're a car guy.
Okay. G-Wagon is classic. You have to have that.
G-Wagon, sure.
This one is somewhat realistic, but I like the Audi RS6. I like the wagons a lot.
Really?
Yeah. The RS6 are
like
really
Subaru
cool.
Outbacks too?
It's not a dream car. I like them, but...
Do you umpire softball?
No.
Okay.
No. And then for my unrealistic cars, you have your McLarens. Those are cool.
Sure.
And then Bugattis are really cool too.
What about
Ferraris are cool. Bugattis are really sweet. I like Bugattis.
What about a Rolls Royce if it came with a driver?
Yeah, I mean the Cullinan's
The Phantom.
Cullinan's better.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Cullinan's is their SUV.
I think I would go Phantom.
No, you would go Phantom, but it's not
Yeah.
the right call.
Why?
Their Spectre.
If I had that much money, I wouldn't care what the right call was.
No, you're sitting low to the ground. There's a lot more room in the Cullinan.
And literally, you could work. We could do the pod from the back of the Phantom.
It'd be much more spacious in the Cullinan.
It wouldn't be as
You'd
cool.
be sick every single time I'm sick. And
We are anyways. So
Yeah,
what would
well.
change? Gosh. Okay.
what other cars are there? Brabus. Brabus is doing incredible stuff right now. Have you heard of them?
I feel like you're more passionate about cars than you are pickleball.
I love cars, which is funny because growing up, I did not care about them at all. Porsches, 911s, amazing.
Don't talk about Porsche because then Austin Reed gets all hot and bothered. He's like, see, it's better than your Tesla.
All right, somebody said, how much singles is Tyler planning on playing in 2025? Also, any plans for mix? So I am planning on doing singles in 2025. Maybe not every single tournament. Listen, singles is extremely tough. My highest ranking at one point was number 3. This was a long time ago, but I feel like I could get to the quarters if I got stuff into gear.
What do you need to change about your game?
My freaking head. I'm an idiot on the court.
Do you feel like your shot selection is bad?
Somewhat. I feel like I have the shots for the most part. I just go for the wrong shots.
Your awareness?
Yeah. Also conditioning, which is weird because I can run a 5-minute mile. I know I'm faster in a straight
There's no
line.
way you ran a 5-minute mile in that video that PPA posted today.
That was slow. I was doing a 6-minute mile.
Okay.
Because I'm sick.
Okay.
And I'm playing pickleball later today.
Okay. I was just saying like that was not.
That was a 6-minute mile.
That wasn't 5-minute mile.
6-minute mile. 10 miles per hour.
I saw it and I was like, that's not 5-minute mile speed.
Yeah.
I was tired just watching, but it still wasn't.
Would Fahey, Buckner, and Anna Bright be as good as they are without Yolas?
That's actually a good question.
That's a great question. My question is, would other players still be able to have Yolas?
I think that they help for sure. I don't think that it's any coincidence that Brooke Buckner has elevated her game with the Yola. Now she did come back from having a baby, and there's some other things.
I would say most of her elevation in her game is in singles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the Yola helps the most with singles.
Yeah.
I also think that Anna Bright is going to be good with no matter what you put in her hand. Now, do I think that the Yola, again, has helped her 100%? And Kate, it's helped her in singles. I mean, Kate hasn't had the success in doubles that she has had in singles. So, I mean, I guess the easy answer to that for me is yes. Like, it's helped their game. To say that they wouldn't be as good as they are is kind of a loaded way to say. I don't know if I would put it that way, but there's no doubt in my mind that it has definitely helped them.
Okay, last question. Somebody said, same guy said, who are the most politically active players on tour?
Politically active?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't think any of them are they?
I don't feel like there's that many that are outspoken.
Did any of them even post who they voted for or that they voted?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't remember any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could probably guess where people live and like where they were raised for how they're voting, to be honest with you. But other than that, I think that most of them keep that kind of as a personal decision.
Last question, I lied. Somebody said, has Tyler played mixed doubles with Elise Jones? Will he in 2025? So I live very close to Elise, 10 minutes away?
Yeah.
I see her. I train with her a little bit. We have played a couple times, and we've never had great success. We've done, I would say, average. And I feel like on paper, just kind of pairing our game styles, we should do better than we have. But I feel like we're just a little bit short, and I don't know if it's because we need more tournaments or if we just don't gel well together. But we've played probably 2 or 3 tournaments. As of now, I don't think, or we don't have any plans to play next year. But
you think Elise and Tyra should play together next year?
I mean,
they've had really good
success.
They've
had good success, so I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, they're taking top 3, top 5, and that's better than either of them have done recently. Consistently.
Yeah.
All right, what else, Jimmy? Anything else?
No. MLP Orlando, if you do want tickets, go use our code, KOTC. cash in on these Black Friday sales. I promise you guys won't be disappointed. There's a lot of them out there.
Dude, I just got a text from Pete asking for your address.
Good. Tell Pete to come see me.
Will the Oompa Loompa be waiting?
Pete wouldn't even remember my address, allegedly. He lost his memory for 3 hours.
Was that justified, the kick?
No, you can't kick somebody. That's what I'm saying.
But weren't you condoning violence for literally 10 minutes straight?
I was just saying that the little dude.
So that is my issue, is these players, and there's quite a few of them on tour, they're screaming their heads off. They're screaming their heads off after every single point.
So it's okay for you to fire back. Now,
with a kick?
Yeah, you can't kick them. You can't hit them. You can't punch them. But if you want to talk back, sure. I think that there's just this. It does bring.
But if all you're doing is talking, it's fake. It's a joke.
Yeah, I think that it brings. There's just a certain level of intensity. Like I'm telling you right now, that first game between the Kawamotos and Anna and Rachel, Anna was quiet, and they lost 11-4. When Anna started,
people think I'm anti-screaming, everything like that. It's not. I enjoy the energy. It's when you're doing it directed at your opponents and you're staring them down after every single shot. I don't care. That is what bothers me.
But when Anna started yelling, and she wasn't yelling at her opponent, but when she started yelling and getting fired up and getting excited, she played better.
There is a difference between showing emotion and then taunting and staring down your opponents and stuff like that.
When you watch an Olympic weightlifter, right, you have a goal of benching 225 pounds.
Yeah, I did 205 today and I struggled with that.
Yeah, you're sick. But when you watch those guys, what do? They grunt. They yell. That's how they pump themselves up and gives themselves that little extra boost.
Yeah.
And I think that some players need that. Now look, that dude walking to the net being like, F yeah, and then slapping the paddle out of his hand. It's like, bro, did you deserve to get kicked in the face, Pete? Probably not. But are you going to get sympathy from people for being kicked in the face? Probably not. That's what I'll say.
Okay, if you made it this far, please do us a big favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. You'll get notifications as soon as we release new videos. We've been on a tear with interviews that we've released from Worlds.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen any of those, we did some with Jay. We did some with Lucia. Lucy. Taylor.
Taylor Holder. We did Caitlin Kerr. I apologize for interrupting her. I guess she brings so much energy to the interview that I felt like I had a lot to say, but I should have let her finish her thoughts. So I apologize.
I had to edit 10 minutes out of that, by the way.
Well, that's because you want to talk about political. Somebody got real political in that interview, and it was not me.
You're the one who asked the first question.
Well, I asked it because I knew that it was a hot button. I didn't expect the rant that I got.
All right. Thank you.